What's going on, everybody? This is EJ Burt hosting the newest episode of Arena Goat Talk, bringing on the legends of this game, and just showing you guys who helped put this game together and letting them tell their story. So on this episode, I got the GOAT, Mr. Jay Gruden, on the show. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing great, EJ. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, trying to figure out this podcasting thing.
Yeah, all the people that I ever coached, EJ, you would have been the last person I would have thought would do a podcast. Hell, you never talked when I coached you.
I already know. I always tell everybody the story that you used to do with me. You're like talking about people getting mic'd up. You're like, on this episode or whatever, we have EJ Burt mic'd up. EJ, you there? You there? I tell everybody that story. Yeah, it was true. I'm just
that is true.
I'm just now getting, coming out of my shell, trying to talk a little more. You know what I mean? It's what it is. You got to grow.
That's right. You didn't have to talk because were a hell of a pass rusher, so you can do what you want, talk or not talk. Just hit the quarterback is all I asked you to
do. Again, appreciate your time and making time to get on and talk to me and kind of telling your story. So I guess, starting out, kind of tell me, your upbringing, your story from the very beginning. What kind of work?
Yeah, I played college football at University of Louisville. I'll jump to college, and then I tried to get in the NFL. I couldn't quite make it. I had a knee injury in college and flunked a couple physicals for NFL teams. So I decided to get into coaching. My dad was a coach. My brother had started to get into coaching at that point. And so I started at Louisville. And we had summer vacation, and I lived in Tampa. And I saw a billboard that said Arena Football League tryouts. And I figured perfect summer vacation job. I needed a job anyway. So I said, you know what the hell? I'll call up there. Frank Kersey was the head coach. Larry Carrick was the offensive coordinator. And Chip Ferguson was a billboard guy. He was the quarterback. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go try out, have some fun for 3 months and see what happens. And that's how I got started. I ended up beating out Chip Ferguson. We won the championship our first year. And the rest is history, EJ. I played 6 straight years, and I went to Nashville and became offensive coordinator. Then the Predators become head coach. Then I came back to play when our quarterback broke his leg, Craig Wheelahan. I played for 2 more years, then broke my leg, then went back into coaching. So the Arena League was a lot of fun for me. The only reason I stopped playing is because back then I played from 91 to 91 through 96. We won 4 championships in 6 years. But I started a family, and the insurance wasn't that good for us. So I had to get a job when I was offensive coordinator. They gave me better benefits. That's why I had to kind of retire. I would have kept playing for a long time if the money was a little bit better and we had better benefits, but that wasn't the case. So I had to get into coaching. And then by the time I came back to playing about 5 years later, the Arena League had better benefits and the salaries were a lot better. So I could play a couple more years.
Yeah. Okay. So what's kind of your motivation when you're a kid or in high school? Like, what was kind of your motivation in life or to play football or whatever? What was?
Yeah, I was just very competitive, loved to play, and I was pretty good at it. I thought I had a pretty good career. I was, 3.5-year starter, and I just loved to play. Even growing up, I played Pop Warner High School, all the baseball, basketball, all that stuff. So this is athletic guy that I just love to compete, and it's hard to get that anywhere else. And I wasn't quite ready to give it up and start coaching because I thought I could still play and help somebody at some level playing the position of quarterback, which I love. So that's what it was all about. And then when I figured out it was time, the Arena League started to, take a back seat. They started to lose a little bit of money. I could see it was in trouble. I started working with my brother when he got the job with the Buccaneers. So I was an assistant coach with him for 7 years. The same time I was playing and coaching with the Predators. So I had the best of both worlds at the time. I was able to learn the outdoor game with my brother and still have fun playing and coaching in the Arena League. So that was perfect. But then my brother got fired. I got fired from the Buccaneers, and really Arena League folded at the same time. So I was like, oh, geez, what am I going to do now? But it all worked out. I ended up getting a job in the UFL with Jim Haslett, and then obviously the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Washington Redskins.
Okay, good. So kind of tell the story of like when you're graduating college, you're looking at your story as far as when you're getting out of college, your pro prospects. What were you thinking when you're, I want to keep playing football? Like I was
drafted, really, I had a pretty good senior year, and I had saw some publication. We didn't have the internet back then, where you kind of knew where you stood, and all the fancy pro days and all that stuff, and then NIL money. So we said it relied on USA Today or the local paper, and I saw a paper that said I might be a 4th or 5th round pick, and I was waiting by the phone and never got called. Arizona Cardinals called me afterwards to be a college free agent. I went there and flunked their physical. Then I went to Miami Dolphins for a couple of days and didn't quite work out. So I went back to Louisville, and Coach Schnellenberger gave me the job. And then I went back to, obviously, Tampa for the summer gig and ended up playing for Frank Kersey. So, yeah, I can remember the first time, we practiced outside back then. So I never really got the gist of arena football. And then the first preseason game, I'll never forget, we played at New Orleans. There's about 50 people in the stands, and I saw the nets and walls, and I walked in the arena, and then I went to the locker room, and we had those red, white, and blue Zuba pants on our chair. I'm going, what in the hell? There's no way I'm wearing this stuff, I put it on. Chip Ferguson started the first quarter. I came in the second quarter. I think I threw 4 touchdowns in the second quarter, and I was hooked ever since. I was like, this is the greatest game ever, and just had a great time. And we had a great team, great group of guys, and that's that's what you love about it. You love not only playing and competing, but you love the guys you're playing with, and just have a lot of great friendships and competing with the same guys. I remember we went to Detroit and beat Detroit our first year, and it was a huge upset. Detroit drive had Art Schlichter and Tim Markham, the legendary coach, and John Corkery was one of the best pass rushers. I mean, he had 30 plus sacks in USFL one year. Yeah, we were big time underdogs. We went there and beat them and had a blast. Excuse me.
Okay, so it kind of answered the next question. Would have been when the idea of arena football first came to you. You were like, I can do this, or shit, what is this? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think the first idea I had was, this is a summer job. It was like $500 a week. Plus it was, I think, a $200 win bonus. And that was perfect for me, is because, I just needed some money. So when I went back to school as a graduate assistant, I could eat and do some things. So it was perfect, and ended up having a blast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You good.
I had a bug fly in my mouth or something. I'm good now.
So tell me about the transition from playing, what was going on in your head, and that time period when you transitioned from being a player to a coach.
Well, like I said, we had a lot of success in Tampa. We won it in 91. We won it in 93, won it in 95, and won it in 96. And like I said, we started our family a little bit, and I had a pretty good idea how to play the game and what we needed to be successful. We had the perfect team, really. We had Frank Kersey our first year. My second, third, and fourth year, we had Larry Kuharich. And then my last 2 years, we had the legendary coach Tim Markham. So kind of had a great idea how to build a football team, and it was really started with defense. We really wanted to have great defensive football teams because the rules really helped the offense. Some teams went pro offense and just try to outscore you. We actually got our personnel were better defensive players, and we taught them how to play offense, with the exception of a quarterback and one wide receiver. So that was kind of my transition. I went to Nashville for 1 year, worked for Eddie Kayat, and helped build that team. And we went to the playoffs our first year in 1997. And then Brett Bushy was the owner for the Predators, called me up and offered me the head coaching job in Orlando in 1998. And that first year, I took over a pretty good team by Perry Moss. Perry Moss was a legendary coach, as you all know. And I took over his team, added some sprinkles, and went it all in 1998. One of my favorite games I ever coached was beating the Tampa Bay Storm in 1998 in Arena Bowl. I think we outscored them maybe 30-0 in the third quarter. It was the greatest third quarter in football history. I mean, we just beat the living hell out of them. I mean, we returned a kick, intercepted 3 passes, 2 for touchdowns. We didn't even complete a pass, EJ, in the third quarter. We outscored them like 35-0 in the third quarter. It was unbelievable. So, but yeah, I think just playing under those coaches, Fran Kersey, Larry Kuharich, and Tim Markham, really helped me get a good idea how I wanted to build a football team. And then obviously I had my own ideas, and I hired some good coaches like Fran Popsadero, and had some good coaches that worked under me, and Brett Muncie, and the rest is history. So I was able to do that and had a lot of success and had a lot of fun.
Good. So you had the time period where you transitioned from playing to coaching, and then going back to playing for a year. Kind of like, I don't know.
That wasn't my best decision, really. I should have done that. Although I was pretty good. my last year playing, I had 50 touchdown passes and 1 interception. We were pretty good. I had broke my leg. This is a good story. You'll like this. So we're playing the Charlotte Rage at Charlotte. My completion percentage was about 85. I was gutting people. I was playing as good as I ever played. I was dropping dimes and we were rolling. And I threw a 3-step drop out to the right, and somebody rolled around the corner about 3 seconds late, grabbed my ankle and did one of these numbers. All I heard was pop, 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 pop. And I tried to walk on it, but I thought I had dislocated my ankle or something like that. Ended up saying I tore ligaments on my ankle. So I came back to play about 5 weeks later. We ended up going to the playoffs and losing in a horribly officiated game to Tampa Bay. Then I went to training camp with my brother, and I'm walking around. I'm limping. My ankle is outside my shoe. And the trainer goes, "What the hell is wrong with your ankle?" I said, "I just tore some ligaments." They go, "No." So I went in to get an x-ray of my leg. I broke my leg, and the bones grew apart like that. So I had about a 10-hour surgery. But the guy who did that, I know you're watching, Kelvin Ingram. It was you. I cut Kelvin Ingram when I was a coach with the Predators. When I came back to play, I played against him. He was with the Charlotte Rage. I'll never forget that. He denies it, but I know he did that on purpose. Son of a gun. I'm still because of you, Kelvin. That was messed up.
And you haven't seen him since, huh?
No, I haven't seen him since. I love the guy, man. He was fun to coach and all that stuff. I have no hard feelings whatsoever, but that was kind of messed up.
So I remember my time, with you and Fran, God bless the dead, just kind of watching how you guys operated and even my philosophies when I got into coaching. I kind of tried to tailor everything that I did after you and Fran, and how y'all went about your business and how you rotated me on defense, and just whatever I thought I knew, I was trying my best to kind of imitate.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There is a lot of skill. There's a lot of preparation that goes into how you sub back then. I mean, it was tough. It wasn't easy. You always try to get your best, like yourself. We knew you couldn't block a soul for the first year we had you, but you started to learn pretty good. You ended up being a pretty damn good tight end. It took a little bit of time, but you always try to get, if you started on defense, you always want them to get that first series. And, if you turn the ball over, you get to play again, then you come out, you get another series, and maybe sneak them in there for one series on offense, make a quick game, just get them out, and then they'll get another defensive series. So there's a lot of strategy involved in that. And, Fran did a great job of the substitution pattern, and Les Moss was with us as well. So those guys were awesome. I just called the plays and called the coverages and locked people down. We always had a really good defense in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. I remember also just like I said, how you operated, and people would crack because I would say, I wouldn't say all the time what would Jay do, but every once in a while I would say something, and I think Jay used to do it like this, and they would, my coaches, some would crack. I need a wristband that said what WWJD, what would Jay do?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. No, we had a great time coaching, and I think I'd like to think that we had a lot of fun coaching, and hopefully you guys had fun. We also tried to get the most out of the guys, and it was kind of a lighthearted, competitive, serious game day. It was a combination of both. You try not to beat these guys down because they're not making a ton of money. You need to have fun playing, but also it is a job, and we expect you to do well. We expect, and I'm sure you expected us to try to make you better. So there's a great combination of getting the right players in who wanted to get better and want to be coached, but also wanted to have fun. And that's a trick because not every player is built that way. But we were lucky enough to have a lot of players that were in that frame of mind. Kenny McIntyre, David Mason. We had some really good players.
Yes. The locker room was always fun.
Yeah, it's got to be. We had some bad apples. We tried to get rid of as fast as we can, unless they were really good. We kept them just for a little while until we get that victory. Yeah. Yeah.
I always have so many fun stories, and this is one I always share. I don't even remember the guy's name because I was, they would ask about how you were as a coach, and I'm like, Jay would always be cracking jokes. It'd be about his business, but he'd be cracking jokes and having fun. But you'll know when it's time to get serious because that next joke might be about you.
Yeah. Sometimes it was serious sarcasm. You know what I mean? It's just, Yeah, you kind of like chuckle and then, hey, wait a minute, that wasn't very nice. Yeah.
So
You know,
don't get to joking with Jay if you ain't doing your job.
yeah,
You know, if
exactly
you
right.
gave up 4 sacks and didn't get none, but then you got the nerve to walk up to Jay and crack a joke, yeah, that next joke might be about you.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're not giving up 4 sacks and seeing the light of day. And yeah, no, hell no.
See if you remember this story. So we scrimmaged Tampa. We were on the bus, and there was
Yep.
another DN that had like 2 sacks that game. And
Mm-hmm.
he's on the way back. He's like, hey Jay, since we had a good game, we don't have to practice tomorrow, do we? You remember
No,
what
you
you
don't.
said?
You don't. You don't, because you're cut.
You're right. You don't have practice tomorrow. You're cut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
You
right.
serious?
He was the guy that started that whole fight down there. Remember that? We had that. I mean, we ended up, there was a big lawsuit because of that. He took off his helmet swinging around at people. I mean, it was insane. But yeah.
I just remember that's a story I always tell. You know, when they ask about your demeanor, I was like, he's cool, he's cracking jokes, but again, if you ain't handle your business, don't get in that conversation and crack a joke with him. And I was already when I was with you, I was already like so serious. You remember, I always had my hoodie on. I was just serious. I didn't crack jokes because my goal was to try to get to the NFL if I could, and I didn't want to mess up trying to be something I wasn't, trying to be the jokester. And then next thing you know, I joke too much and then I ain't doing my job. So I always treaded lightly, you know, when I was around because I was just too damn serious. And looking back at it, I wish I would have lightened up a little bit, but I was too damn
Yeah.
serious for what I was supposed to do.
I don't think of you as that serious of a, you just were quiet. I think you just picked your spots of when to talk and when to be heard and all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just kind of a shy guy. You came from the AF2 league and you were trying to find your way and earn your spot and earn your way. And you know, once you did that, you started to open up a little bit more, but you were, you know, that's what you're supposed to be when you're trying to earn a spot, man. You got to be a quiet assassin. And you know, I ain't joking around with anybody. I got to win a job first. Then I got to dominate my position. Then I got to, you know, dominate the league. Then maybe I'll crack a joke, right?
Yeah, so it took time. You would have seen me joke a little bit more later on in my career. That's when I started to kind of open up because I kind of felt comfortable with the game, and you know, it get to the point where it's like, okay, my NFL dreams are over. Let me enjoy this arena game as much as I can. Enjoy every single game, enjoy every single practice, because you know, shit, this thing would end tomorrow. So let me just go ahead and stop being so damn serious and focus on.
I'd probably still be in the Arena League if it didn't go bankrupt. You know, if we would have stayed above water. You know, teams were selling for, I think the Tampa Bay Storm sold for 18, 19 million. The New York City Hawks sold for 19 million. The players were starting to get paid pretty good. Coaches were getting paid pretty good. And I can remember paying Kenny Mack a couple $100,000 a year. And you know, shoot, Styles White made $180,000 one year, I think. And coaches were making around I mean, it was a pretty good league. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was at its height. That was like, man, it was. I was talking to John Moyer earlier today about the good old days and the good times and when everybody was making money. We're on TV every single week and just thinking about how things were.